Hey, this is Birgitte or B, coming to you with my dear Heather that we met through Wing Sisters a couple of years ago. And she has she's giving her time to just share with you a little bit about her life and how she got into this. And so Heather, this is going to be our episode, I think 11. I'm gonna have to correct that in the when I post it. But who is Heather besides winging mom, right? California. Yeah.
I grew up in the East Coast. I came out here for what I thought was going to be a summer job when I was in grad school. Um, and that was to coach the St. Francis Yacht Club sailing team for the summer. And I never left. I just got sucked into the Bay Area and the whole sailing scene out here. And at that time, kind of an emerging kite scene as well. And so I've been working on the West Coast and mostly California ever since. And I went to art school. I tried to work as a commercial artist for a while and found that it was really hard to make a living at that. But I had always been an avid sailor and a really competitive sailor in college. So I just kept taking sailing jobs to make a living. And eventually I ended up as a charter boat captain. And that's what I do now. I captain yachts on San Francisco Bay.
Cool. So where are you right now?
I'm actually on my own boat right now. Um, I am hiding from the rain because it's pouring
Yeah.
outside. I was going to try to do this outside in a nice setting, but so you could see the bay behind me, but it's a little too wet for that today.
Yeah. Yeah. And I forgot to share that where I am. So I am at Lake Mojave, Arizona. The wind, it's a lot of sun coming in through my windows. You probably can't see it right now, just my messy kitchen. But it's beautiful here. I'm here for like a month and a half, and so I'm um, working. I'm doing some projects, and I'm winging, and we get to do this. So anyway,
Amazing.
yeah, it's we're the lucky ones. That's how I feel. So, how did you first learn about wing foiling?
So I actually had tried kiteboarding around 1999, 2000. And at that time, a friend lent me a two-line kite, which was super dangerous. They hadn't really gotten the four-line kites out yet with the release on them. And so I was out off of Chrissy Field and on a two-line kite that was way too big for me. And I dislocated both my shoulders at the same time
Oh my
on the
gosh.
kite. And I had to swim into shore. And I was like, okay, never again. I'm never doing this kiteboarding thing again. This is way too dangerous. Forget it. And then those same friends of mine became really good at kiting, and they were right in the very beginning of winging. Um, During COVID, I saw them out winging under the Golden Gate Bridge while I was sailing by, and I thought, okay, I got to try that. That looks a lot safer and a lot more fun. And so one of my old sailing buddies let me borrow some gear, and I was instantly hooked on it. Went out and spent like all my savings on gear. Unfortunately,
So worth it. Oh my gosh.
yeah, but it was so worth it, and it was yeah. So I started I in earnest. I started in like this would be my third season, I think.
Yeah. So, what are some of your favorite spots you've visited? I know you wing around the bay and probably from your boat, and you're also Captain Heather, and you go places. And I remember you telling me that you did a race with your son. He wanted to race to Maui and back. And then you
Uh,
all your
yeah,
kids are actually so good at sailing that they can sail up and down California or maybe to Baja. And I am just like, and you raised three kids on the boat. I mean, who does that? So, and you did it well. I mean, they want to hang out with you. So, tell us about like places you go and wing.
yeah. Well, we did race to Hawaii this summer. We raced actually to the race ended in Oahu, and I was really hoping to do some winging while I was there, but there was a cyclone on its way, so we actually only had like 4 days to turn the boat around and get out of there before the cyclone hit, and so I didn't get any winging in there. I'm going to go back and hopefully
Yeah.
spend some time in Maui next year. For
And this
sure,
was
I'd really
just
like
like
to.
this year, like a few
Yeah,
months.
this was in July, August this summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So my son graduated high school, and this was his high school graduation present. He's studying oceanography at the Maritime Academy now. And I thought that crossing an ocean would be an appropriate way to launch him into his career as an oceanographer. So the two of us raced the boat that he grew up on, double handed, just the two of us. And it took us 18 days to sail to Hawaii. And then I had to fly him back to start school. And then it took me 27 days to get back. So I missed out on the entire winging season this summer, but it was a really good reason. So
yeah, that,
you have a good
that's
excuse.
great
Yeah.
priorities. I love it. What are
Yeah.
some other places you go? Uh,
I really like Tamales Bay. And lately I've been going with some friends who are surfers, and they've been taking me to Lemon Tour and some of the beaches that have more of a surf break, which I'm a little scared of still, but
yeah,
it's a good challenge, you know.
yeah.
It's
I
kind of
feel the same way about those because I'm not a surfer, but
yeah.
I'm trying to learn about the shore break, how to get safely in and out, and make sure you're literally
Yeah,
not
me
over
too.
your head, right? So,
Exactly. Yeah, me too.
and then you go to La Ventana and you take
Yep.
people
So
down there. Tell us about that.
I do. Yeah. So well, it's great. I've got a fun gig in the wintertime where I teach all women's sailing courses. So if any women are listening and they want to learn to sail, sign up for my all women sailing class in a sailing school that's actually located in Lake Tahoe. But in the winter, Tahoe's obviously closed for sailing. So they send all the students down to Baja, and we do these like week-long classes where you stay on the boat. Um, and it's just a small group of 3 or 4 women at the most, and we sail around all the islands in the middle of the Sea of Cortez and Baja. But in between the classes I get to go winging down there, so I bring my truck down and I try to stay for an extra couple of weeks or so, and get down to La Ventana or El Sorrento and camp on the beach and wing down there, which is really fun.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. I still have to go there. So,
Yeah, you do, you definitely do.
so how does being on the water make you feel, or what's like the best part of you? And I remember you and I've talked before, and I think you said that you probably have spent more time on the water than on land in your adult life, which is so cool.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. No, I mean, I live on a boat. I work on boats, and if I take a vacation, I usually go camping in the mountains just to get a little mountain time. Because that's such a different environment for me. But yeah, being on the water just feels really healthy to me, and it feels like my home. And the type of people that are in my community where I live on my boat, and in all the communities on boats that I've run into in my life all over the world, have just been like amazing communities with really down to earth people that care about the environment, care about each other, and they're maybe a little less capitalistic, a little bit more, they have a lot of skills in building and making things as opposed to just like consuming things. And I appreciate that. And so I just feel good being on the water, whatever it is, whatever form that takes, whether it's, sailing or paddleboarding or wing foiling or swimming or snorkeling, just all of it feels good.
That's awesome.
Feels like home.
So, what's your, I know this season you kind of missed out on winging because you had other things you were doing. But like let's say the year before when you winged a little more, what was your consistency level for getting on the water, if you remember? And
Oh,
like
I would
what
say,
and like what would be getting in the way if you can't go?
yeah. Okay, so I still have a 10-year-old at home, and yeah, can't quite, he's not quite old enough to leave him by himself yet. And so, and he's homeschooled, by the way. So we school at home and I take him to work with me. So it's kind of, it's kind of hard to get out with him unless I have someone for him to hang out with. So I would say that's probably my biggest challenge. So the answer for that I have discovered is that I just need to teach him how to wing. So we can be buddies.
There you
He
go.
can go out with me. And he's game to try it. So we're going to try that in next month down in Baja. He's going to come with me for a couple of weeks and we'll see how that goes. So I'll
Right.
report back to you on teaching a 10-year-old to wing. But yeah, I would say that's my biggest challenge. Otherwise, my schedule is pretty flexible. And usually, when it's like crazy windy, we don't sail. So it's a perfect time to wing. So, in some ways, my job works really well. Like, I'll book a morning sail and a sunset sail for work. And then in the middle of the day, I can go winging at the windiest part of the day at Crissy Field.
Yeah. So
So,
what are what's the morning sail and the sunset sail? Like what you have people on your boat and how's it like? Like
mm-hmm.
what it sounds very exciting, but I've never tried it. So tell me a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, it's on my boat. When I run my own boat, it's just a really chill experience. It's mostly like tourists or people having a date night on the sunset sail. It's usually some kind of a date night or a special occasion, a birthday or anniversary or something. Occasionally, I get wedding proposals on the boat, which is super fun. Um, so that's really fun. But then I also work on an educational tall ship. I There's a large square rig tall ship that some of you who wing in San Francisco Bay have probably seen out there. You can't miss it. It's a big pirate looking ship, real old fashioned square sails. It's 132 feet long, and it's called the Matthew Turner, and I captain that as well. And so on Matthew Turner, we take kids out and do science education on board. So that's more of like the morning sail would look like a group of fifth graders, for example, learning marine science
Yeah.
and
Oh,
history and that kind of stuff. So yeah.
awesome. Um, so if you had a magic wand, how would your day look like? Like what would you do more of or less of, you think?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, um, I do also work with a nonprofit as a volunteer, as a board member, and I do a lot of work with them kind of developing programming. So that fulfills me. So I try to do at least one kind of good deed for them every day, to stay on top of the what's going on at the nonprofit. That's called Spalding Marine Center. And we have education programs there. So I try to do that something for them every day, whether it's helping raise money or connecting people or, mentoring one of the apprentices or whatever. Um, and then I love my work. My crew on the ship is fantastic group of young people. They're really give me a lot of energy. So I like going to work. So I would work on an ideal day, maybe just one sail. And then I'd spend the rest of the afternoon winging for sure. And then if all three of my kids were home for dinner, that would make me really happy. So yeah,
Oh,
that would be my ideal day.
that's
Yeah.
awesome. So what are some of your favorite takeaways? I think you said some of the favorite takeaways in the boat and in the like sail community. You mentioned some of those. Is there anything else you want to add to that as part of being in the water sports community? Or I think you're pretty
I
much
just,
nailed it
yeah,
the way I feel about it too. already. But
Yeah, I agree with you. Totally agree with you. That it's a super supportive community. I remember when I moved to California like 25 years ago, I tried to learn how to surf, and that was not a supportive community at the time. Like there weren't people cheering me on. It was competitive. There wasn't enough space at Ocean Beach for all the people that wanted to catch a wave, and it was like very territorial and not very supportive. I'm sure there is a supportive surf community somewhere, but I didn't find it.
Mhm.
Whereas like with winging, everybody was starting off kind of fresh, coming from all these different places. From, some came from surfing, some came from windsurfing, some came from sailing, some just saw it and wanted to try it. And I feel like because it was sort of limitless territory, and the gear was evolving really fast. It is evolving really fast. People were really willing to share information and help each other, and there was just a lot of cheering each other on. And yeah, it's a really cool community, and I hope it stays that way forever.
Yes, we're gonna make sure it does. Because we're part of it, right? So
Yeah,
that's
it's our job to make sure it does. Yeah,
yes,
so
yes. So would you say learning to will wing has helped you in other areas of your life? And if so, how? Or water sports, let's just say.
yeah, I think learning something really hard um, later in life is always good. It definitely pushed me. I still fall a lot. And it pushed me to be a little bit more humble and to keep trying different things. And it's helpful for me because I teach a lot, to be a student again and to remember what that feeling is like of being really new and kind of terrified of something. Um,
That's a good
and
point.
have that perspective. Yeah.
Yes,
So
that's a great point. So awesome. Well, thank you so much, Heather, for your time. We're gonna post some of the like a link to your sailing because I'm sure there's people here that are just that would love to try that. And
yeah, for
so
sure.
we're gonna include some of that below in the YouTube comments or whatever. So